Deport bigotry, not my friends. And it was that point when I should have realized that this was going to have to be divided into two videos. So that's what I did. This was from the last post-it when I was actually recording part 27 of this Writing on Trump's Wall, where I read the post-its on the Union Square subway station that I recorded from the Union Square subway station that was a few days after Donald Trump had won his first term as the President of the United States of America. And I do this series keeping in mind that people literally mean things figuratively. So recording part 27, I got to this part and I was thinking, oh, let's just have a long one. After having that long current affair, there was about 10 minutes talking about things with the recent speech that he gave at Tulsa and things like that. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. You can actually pause, go check that out. This has a little intro to this one. I refer back to the first post-it or the first couple of post-its that I read in that one. In this one a bit, they're more about love and caring and things like that. But you don't have to. You can actually listen to it after this. But this is just going to be no current affairs. I'm just going to be discussing this actual post-it and the things that went into it after I got to it. So once again, that post-it was deport bigotry and not my friends. Yeah. Okay, so the literal aspect, there's not too much literal here. Again, with the bigotry and both friends, I think if I actually, chances are from what I've discussed with people, if I actually sat down and tried to define what bigotry and friends were to these people, I would not use those words in the same way to probably discuss the same things that they're talking about. But when you talk about bigotry in general, just the general definition of it, where it's being intolerant against people who have different views than you do, that one, now it depends on what do those views do, because I don't think views necessarily exist in a vacuum. The way you think about certain things leads to actions about other things. And an odd thing about this is some of the people who say this are also against Trump and Trump supporters for what they perceive to be the beliefs of those people. So some people who are against, it's the whole situation. Do you get so against discrimination that you also don't discriminate against people who are openly discriminatory? There gets to be a catch-22 there, where I am not against discrimination. I am okay. Like, I've mentioned this before, and it's one thing that's for me. If somebody says, I think hitting kids is a positive part of parenting, I want to be able to discriminate against this person. I am intolerant to that kind of thinking, that kind of opinion. I don't like that opinion. When I hear that opinion, it rankles me. It gets me. It gets me heated. I often get in heated conversations. If I'm in a situation where I'm passing by something online, a comment, I'm like, okay, I got to stop and actually address that. That is something I don't really tolerate. I would not tolerate it around my children if I had them. I would not tolerate that around people I consider to be good people who would want to be around kids. That is something I don't support. So I think having some kind of intolerance towards different opinions, depending on what those opinions actually do, is not necessarily a bad thing. Now, not my friends. Okay, your friends. Why are your friends in the certain location that they can be deported from? Have they committed crimes? Did they actually... The whole DACA thing, there's just recently been something with the Supreme Court that said, okay, you have to refile the thing, and some people saying, okay, it's a win for the people who are anti-Trump, but then Trump came out and said it's actually a win for us because they're kind of on board with us, so we need to actually refile this. As I mentioned, I am trying to get back in the United States of America. I don't want to do it in this illegal manner. I used to joke around that, oh, it might be actually easier for me to just fly into Mexico and then sneak over the border that way. But no, I would rather do it without involving taxpayer funding and things like that. I'd rather do it as starting a business and getting in legally with my American friends and getting in and being a productive member of the society and culture. And I'm not a supporter of the state, as you know. I lean more anarcho-capitalist. I lean more libertarian. I lean more individualist. So that's for me, that's my stance. So I'm not supportive of a state controlling borders. But that's the situation that is right now. And the same thing with the Chaz. The first thing they actually did was establish borders and start patrolling it and start controlling how people come in and out. This is what people do. I am for individualism because of that. Part of me being against the state is because the state violates personal individual borders and our personal individual rights to property. That's what the state violates. So when you come to this and you're deciding your border, and people on the political left also agree with me, they're the ones about personal space, violating your personal space and things like that, having all these boundaries, violating my personal identity and things like this. Oh, your opinions about who I am are not really affecting who, shouldn't affect who I am. I should be able to identify as well. That's your personal boundaries. So people, we accept personal boundaries. So with that situation, if they're there illegally, if somebody has set up some kind of community, some kind of organization, some kind of area, and you are choosing to enter that area, and that area has certain rules and laws and guidelines about who can reside and be within that area, then it is incumbent on you to actually follow those rules and regulations. You can find other ways to go against them and raise objections, but if they're there illegal, if they've literally broken the law, then I'm sorry, from somebody who has traveled around. Actually, I'm not even sorry. Not sorry. That's just the way it is. From someone who's traveled around, I have no actual aspect. You might have a different opinion to you. I may not be completely intolerant to your opinion. I'm willing to have a discussion off of it. But I am not pro people being undocumented migrants, illegal aliens. These people have broken certain laws, taken advantage of certain people and things to actually enter those areas. So this is a point where I'm not like supporting the state necessarily, but I am saying I am anarcho-capitalist. I am an anarchist in the sense that I don't like it when there's leaders and rules and rule makers that are above those laws. I'm not against laws. So if there's actual laws for being in a certain location, then I am not against those laws being enforced, and I am not supportive of the people who just violate those laws and want to take advantage. And then when it comes to the DACA people, unfortunately, this is the case, and you can see this with the people who purport that there's this white guilt. They say the white people have inherited this wealth from the world, from colonialism, from slavery, and they have to pay reparations, and they owe POC, people of color, and all these things, these other things, because of their ill-gotten gains, because they did not get these gains justly. So that is a general acceptance and awareness that you are not for people saying, oh, if your parents did this, if somebody else did this, somebody stole this thing and gave it to you, you still have the rights to keep it. No, people say if you stole something from somebody and gave it to somebody else, you have the right to go and get it back from that person who actually bought or was given that stolen good that they did not know was stolen. So with this DACA thing, if your parents violated the laws and brought you into a location, then that's not a legally standing thing. And one thing with the United States of America, and we're going over 20 minutes already, I'll just wind up with this, is there's also that law with the birthright citizenship. People talk about how crap the United States of America is. There's so many things about the United States of America that are just exceptionally, uniquely American. A few other countries have these kind of things, but just set it into a different kind of situation, different kind of country, different kind of place, where the birthright citizenship is also kind of there. So I don't know. I need to double check. 1 second. Let me double check this. Just a reminder here that the DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, does not fall under birthright citizenship. DACA focuses specifically on people that were born outside of the United States of America and then brought in by their parents who entered the country illegally or overstayed their visas, were in the country illegally. So that is the difference with this before I get into this definition of birthright citizenship. Okay, so I'm going to Wikipedia here. I'm at Wikipedia and it's saying current U.S. law on the citizenship. Citizenship in the United States of America is a matter of federal law, governed by the United States Constitution. Since the adoption of the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution on July 9, 1868, the citizenship of persons born in the United States has been controlled by its Citizenship Clause, which states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So statute by birth within the U.S. Under United States Federal Law 8 U.S.C. 1401, a person is a United States national and citizen if, point 1, the person is born in the United States and subject of the jurisdiction thereof. Point 2, the person is born in the United States to a member of Indian, Eskimo, Aleutian, or other Aboriginal tribe, see Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. Point 3. The person is of unknown parentage found in the United States while under the age of 5 years until shown prior to his attaining the age of 21 not to have been born in the United States. Point 4. The person is born in an outlying possession of the United States of parents, one of whom is a citizen of the United States who has been physically present in the United States for one of its outlying possessions for a continuous period of 1 year at any time prior to the birth of such person. So there you have it. This is the law. And this is the law of the land. Different lands have different laws. Part of why people are saying the United States of America is imperialist and it violates other countries, shouldn't be doing this and this, is because they're going to other places and saying, oh, you shouldn't be violating those people's places. Some of the reasons people object to the United States of America's actual existence, oh, you came here and violated the rules and the laws and the customs of the Indians and Eskimos and Aleutians and other Aboriginal tribes, because people are accepting some kind of ownership. And if it's okay for people to just come in now and not respect the current lands of the laws of the land, then what is your objection to the United States of America having done that in the past? What is your objection to colonialism if it's just about just going in and just if it's perceived to be a better situation for yourself and your family, just do it. Damn the law. No, you should just get to these different things. Oh, you're just there trying to do the best for yourselves? Oh, you think the colonials were just trying to rape and pillage other countries? They were also trying to do the best for themselves. The early people who came to the United States of America was also trying to do the best for themselves. They had strife and battles with the actual people that are here, but that is part of it. The people who are here had strifes and battles as they moved around the United States of America. I'm saying here, but meaning the United States of America. The people here in Kenya had their own strifes and battles before Kenya was even invented, before the Europeans came down from that. They had their own strifes and battles over land and locations for the betterment of the people. Just like I talked about in, I think what's going to be part 1 of this, which is part 27, this is probably going to be in part 28, from what it's looking like, I'm going to divide these into 2, was there also were people who were trying to do their best for their family. People are coming from a good place. In my opinion, from my observations, I have seen, and again, you can be bigoted to this opinion of mine. It's okay, you can be intolerant to it, but I think we'll mostly agree that most people are trying to do the best thing. Most people are trying to be good. So some of these come from good. And now the definitions of how to get to these good things are things that have raised a lot of problems. Speaking different languages, not having the same understanding, not having the same virtues and values and things like that. Not being able to actually just say, okay, I'm going to go over there, you go over here, let's just have our separate space for this time being. This whole thing where, oh, we have to share this one space. I'm like, no, you don't have to share this one space. You can discriminate against certain people and probably change things. So there's so many things that go into this that lead to certain problems and certain issues. So when it comes to this, with this actual law, where is the actual situation? So certain countries say, if you come from that country and you're in another country and you have a child, that country is you, just like here they're talking about, if somebody from the United States of America is a citizen, and they have kids and they're born here in Kenya, they are still American citizens because of their parents' citizenship. Just in a similar way, if you sneak in over the border, cross illegally from Mexico, Mexico still has laws and rules that has you're under the Mexican jurisdiction because you're still an actual citizen. When I go to the United States of America on my visa right now, a travel visa or a business visa, I am still subject to the laws of Kenya. I'm not completely under the actual jurisdiction of the United States of America. Through that visa, I'm subject to certain laws and certain regulations in the United States of America. But when you go to like embassies and things like that, and you go when it's technically almost a different country, there's different diplomatic rules and laws for those people. They don't pay, in general, they don't have to be taxed like the citizens and things like that. There's tax exemptions, there's other kind of things where if you're a United States citizen and you're in another country, you can go and seek refuge in the actual embassy. Remember how Julian Assange was seeking refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in, I think, the United Kingdom, because Ecuador did not have an extradition treaty with the United States of America or some other country, so you didn't have that, so that's kind of some kind of security thing. So there's different rules and laws, and that is literal land in the United Kingdom that was considered to be part of Ecuador and subject to the laws of Ecuador. So when you have these people, individuals that don't actually enter and accept the contract to say, we are now subject to your laws, their parents, do not have the actual parts in this whole citizenship to say that they are subject to the jurisdiction of the Constitution of the United States of America, since they have already violated some of that. They're not in there on the actual legal status. Neither of the parents are actual citizens of the United States of America. So they don't have the actual evidence of being shown the parentage and things like this. So these are the things to show that that thing is just, it's the legality of it is questionable. So if you think there's actual legality to it, I don't think you have that much of a foot to stand on. That's why this is actually being taken to the Supreme Court. That's why there's actual discussion and things about this. So that is an interesting topic, I think, for people to discuss. And I guess this is the end of this now. This is the end of part 28. Now I'm going to go divide these and record just a quick end part for the initial part that's telling people to come and listen to this part as part 2. But these are both going to be released sometime in this week. I think I'll do the same thing that I did last week, where I release the initial part. I might actually... time-wise, I might actually reset the initial part on the Sunday as I'm recording this, and then this next part will probably be released on the Thursday of this upcoming week. But anyway, I'm going to go back and record a quick little intro telling you to head back to that one for current affairs. But for now, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate you taking your time to come listen to this. Below is also links to our merchandise store. You can buy different kinds of merchandise. Until next time, goodbye.